All right, y'all. We are back with another video, and here we go again. I definitely had to bring y'all this one. If y'all remember, when the Teamsters voted for Donald Trump, pretty much endorsed Donald Trump when he had like a way bigger percentage number than Kamala Harris, we finally find out exactly what happened. The Teamsters president, Sean O'Brien, went on Tucker Carlson and told us everything behind the scenes, how he had this questionnaire where he had 16 questions for Joe Biden, and I think he had 16 questions for Donald Trump, and then he had 16 questions for Kamala Harris, and that Kamala Harris didn't even want to answer but 4 of them. Not only that, he said that she tried to force them to endorse her, said that she told them that y'all better get with the program, y'all better endorse me. Pretty much that's what she said. Like, this right here is just crazy. Not only that, he even revealed even more things that y'all gonna want to hear. So please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into it. Let me know who all make it to the end. It really helps get the video out there. But this is just one reason why I'm glad Kamala Harris lost. You telling me she didn't want to answer any questions, and then she told the Teamsters that they better endorse her. Like, what? You telling them they better endorse you or else? Like, that sounds like a threat to me. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into it, y'all. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Now, this was a stunning moment on Tucker Carlson's podcast. Well, actually not sure if it's a podcast, maybe more of a show, but anyways, on Tucker Carlson's X show, Tucker Carlson interviewed the Teamsters Union president, and in a way, I guess we got a glimpse in how the cookie is made. A glimpse into the behind the scenes. We all remember that moment where Kamala Harris during the campaign season said that she was the, quote, underdog in this race, right?
We know what it's like to be the underdog. And we're the underdog in this race. And we have some hard work then ahead of us.
Well, she was presenting it as such, but apparently her behavior behind the scenes was suggesting something quite different. According to this Teamsters president, Kamala Harris was under the impression that she had this thing in the bag, a sort of confident arrogance about her, and in hindsight, a clearly unfounded confident arrogance. You know, I really think in the 2024 election, the Democrat Party thought that their influence and their power was unmatched and possibly unbeatable. Let me show you guys this stunning clip and why I think it's important. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I pretty much laid out the context. Now just take a look at this interaction on the Tucker Carlson show between the Teamsters president and, of course, Tucker.
So in your meeting with him, it was obvious that he
it was. So we give 16 questions 2 weeks in advance, the same 16 questions to each candidate. So, you know, RFK answered all 16 questions. Probably most of them didn't answer them how we would like them to answer them, but they answered them. Joe Biden came in and he answered 5 of them. Donald Trump answered all 16.
There you go.
And then when Biden drops out of the race, but prior to Biden dropping out of the race, he's in the race around June or May. One of my vice presidents, a woman named Joan Corey out of my local, she sits on our general executive board, was at an event with Vice President Harris. You know, they're going through the line to get the picture, and Joan introduces herself to Vice President Harris, says, I'm Joan Corey. I'm on the general executive board for the Teamsters. She goes, Teamsters? You better get on board.
Wow.
You better get on board.
Wow.
Better get on board soon. Says it to my vice president.
To her face?
To her face. So she comes back. We have the meeting the next day.
Damn.
And she tells me this.
I thought I was arrogant. That's really arrogant.
So she tells me this. So I call up Marty Walsh. He wasn't the Secretary of Labor, but, you know, he was pushing hard for us to make the endorsement. I'm like, let me ask you a question, Marty. Excuse my French. Who does this lady think she is? Like, if I want to support from any organization, I am not going to point my finger in someone's face and say, you better get on board or else.
Oh.
But that's the attitude of this.
See, that's them type of threats right there. So she literally said that y'all better get on board as if she just knew. See, the thing is, Kamala Harris thought that they was going to cheat, which they tried to cheat. She thought they had it in the bag, or we going to cheat Donald Trump. I know I'm going to win. And instead of getting in front of them, talking to them, you literally look at this woman and say, y'all better get on board. Now you see the reason why Donald Trump had, I think his percentage was like at 58, 59 to her like 30 something. Now you see the reason why. Instead of talking to the people, answering questions, as soon as the woman told her who she was, she looked at her and put her finger in her face. That's disrespect right there. You put your finger in somebody's face and say, you better get on board or else. As if I win and y'all didn't endorse me and y'all endorsed Donald Trump, but I won, I'm gonna get you put in jail. I'm gonna do something to you. It sounded like a threat. Like, that is ridiculous. Let's keep it going though, because he got more to say though.
Someone's face and say, you better get on board or else. But that's the attitude of this whole party. Fast forward, she finally agrees to come after we were putting pressure on her, you know, basically, because I was doing interviews all over the place saying, we haven't got invited to the DNC. You know, they haven't accepted our invitation for her to come to a roundtable. So she comes to the roundtable. Same format, same questions. Rank and file members are asking her questions just like they asked every other candidate. They were trying to negotiate with us. She only wants to answer 3 questions. We're like,
that sounds just like what she did with Joe Rogan. Remember, she didn't like with Joe Rogan. She didn't even want to answer no question, telling Joe Rogan she can only do an hour. When Joe Rogan interviews somebody, it's literally 3 hours. Anybody he got on his channel, he do an interview with, is 3 hours. She literally told him that she can only do an hour, and that not only she can only do an hour, but Joe Rogan got to fly to her. Joe Rogan said, like, no, I'm not going to fly to you so your team can try to tell me I can't ask you this and ask you that. She always I told people this plenty of time that Kamala Harris is fake. When she get in front of the crowd, she do all that fake laugh and act like she really like people. Behind the scene, this woman is terrible. She's a bad person. She ain't to be trusted. So he got 16 questions that he said RFK Jr. Answered, even though he said they probably didn't like some of it, but he did answer it. Donald Trump answered the 16 questions. He said Joe Biden answered 5. But when Joe Biden got kicked out, because remember, Kamala Harris didn't invite them to the DNC. But, you know, they did get invited to the RNC. So now we figuring out what's going on, because, see, she thought she had it in the bag. She thought they was going to cheat, so she wasn't worried about it. But this right here is bad. You telling them out of 16 questions, you only going to answer 3? More, like, come on. Like, this is ridiculous. She feel like she entitled, like she can just do what she want.
Are asking her questions just like they asked every other candidate. They were trying to negotiate with us. She only wants to answer 3 questions.
That's
like,
crazy.
There's 16 questions here. She answers 3 of them. And on the 4th question, one of her operatives or one of her staff slips a note in front of me. This will be the last question.
Wow. So her staff put a note on the table during the interview and said, this will be the last question. What is wrong with these people? Remember, she did the same thing with Brett Barry in that interview when her operatives, whatever you want to call them, staff, was telling her to come on, we got to go. She was already late getting there because she didn't like the questions. You know, she liked to be pet and stuff like that. So she wants somebody to baby her during the interview, give her a softball question. When it comes to like tough questions, she don't want to answer. They let you know she ain't changed her stance on anything. Only thing she was doing in front of the camera is just saying whatever people wanted to hear. But this is how this woman really, really is. She got people sliding notes on the table saying this will be the last question. Out of 16, you only want to answer 3? Man, I'm telling y'all, we dodged a freaking bullet. We dodged a bullet. I promise you we did.
The question, one of her operatives or one of her staff slips a note in front of me. This will be the last question. And it was 20 minutes earlier than the time that it was going to end.
Come on.
That's
100%.
crazy.
You know, you're there trying to get our support. And her declaration on the way out was, I'm going to win with you or without you.
Wow.
She thought that or said it out loud?
She said it out loud.
She said, so Kamala gets up after not only want to answer 3 questions, but literally said, I'm going to win with or without you. How did that work out, Kamala Harris? How did that work out? You're going to win or without them, because that Teamsters vote, that definitely hurt you. You treated them like that, wouldn't answer questions, tell them they better get on board, tell them that you're going to win with or without them. Look what happened to you. You already pointed your finger in another woman's face, talking about they better get on board as if they're your child or something. What is wrong with Kamala Harris? Now you see when she came back, she all drunk on videos, look like she just done been through it. Like that right there that is silly.
With you or without you.
She thought that or said it out loud?
She said it out loud.
That's insane.
You know, that moment from the interview right there just exposed, I think, everything that's wrong with the modern Democratic Party.
Yep.
Kamala Harris told the Teamsters president, "I'm going to win with or without you." That's not just a moment of shocking arrogance. It's a perfect encapsulation of the narcissism that defines the left today. It's
Yep.
an attitude that says, we don't need to answer to you, we don't need your support, and we certainly don't need to earn your vote. And that's exactly why they're losing touch with the American people. And
Yep.
I don't think that mindset is unique to Kamala Harris, but rather I think that mindset is kind of pervasive throughout the Democratic Party, or at least within the elitist circles. They've convinced themselves that elections are theirs to win by default, and that they don't need to run on ideas or connect with voters. Instead, they can simply coast to victory on the backs of social media influencers, celebrities, and the billions of dollars in ad spending.
You know what? That's exactly what she thought. You know, since they were paying all them celebrities, they were getting all them endorsements because they were paying, so she thought she wasn't going to need the Teamster, but it came back and bit her. Talking to them like that, and you trying to earn a vote, and you tell them what they better do? Think about this. You telling other grown people what they better do.
That they engage in. You know, it's clear that they see themselves as the elite because they act like it. They're so frickin' out of touch, so insulated from reality, that they genuinely believe that they don't have to engage with regular people anymore. And that's essentially what Kamala Harris said. I mean, let's be real here. Let's bring in the proper context. This wasn't during a moment where Kamala Harris was high-flying with huge leads in the polls. This was during a time when the polls were tightening and the Trump base was energized like never before. Yet she had the audacity to dismiss a group as influential as the Teamsters with a flippant, "I'll win without you." It's that kind of arrogance that's costing the Democrat Party. It's that exact kind of arrogance that continues to plague the Democratic Party today. They've built their strategy on entitlement, not effort. They seem to assume that if they throw enough money at an election, get enough celebrities to endorse them, and weaponize enough media narratives, that they'll simply win. It's almost like they campaign just the way that they govern. Just throw money all over the place, throw money at any problem, at any issue, and automatically it's a political win. But obviously that strategy is falling apart now, isn't it? The truth is they're failing because they no longer know how to connect with the people, with regular
It didn't
people.
work.
The Democrat Party used to be the party of the working class. At least that was the self-anointed title that they had given themselves. But now it seems like they look down on the people that they claim to represent. They sneer at blue-collar workers, dismiss their concerns, and assume that they'll just fall in line. And when those exact voters push back, Democrats double down on their elitism. Instead of actually listening to people, they label dissenters as deplorables, racists, or conspiracy theorists. Instead of showing up to answer tough questions, they hide behind a wall of media sycophants and propaganda. You know, really, these little instances that we cover, like I always say, are a microcosm of the whole. This is the attitude of the left. This interaction, or this dynamic in the 2024 election between the Teamsters Union and many other workers' unions and the Democrat Party or Kamala.
The only thing that I wish that the president, Sean O'Brien of the union, I wish he would have said something earlier. He should have said something like when the election was going on that, hey, we asked her some questions. She told us that we better get on board. I wish he would have said something then instead of, you know what I'm saying, like waiting till now, even though it's out now, because, you know, we would have never knew if he wouldn't have said it now. But I just wish he would have said it a lot earlier. You telling them that they better get on board, you're going to win with or without them, being so arrogant like you just thought you had it in the bag. Like, come on, man.
Harris essentially represents what happened in the 2024 election on a more macro view. You had people who had concerns and they were asking the Democrat Party directly. We have these concerns related to the economy, inflation, immigration, whatever it is. And instead of addressing those concerns, those people were shunned, they were ridiculed, they were ignored. They were essentially told to F off. And the response was, well, you have all those concerns, we're not going to address them, and we don't even care to address them because we're going to win anyways. How are we going to win? Not by addressing any of the concerns of working class people, but rather by showing up on a stage with Beyonce, or putting out these narratives out there that if you vote for somebody else, you're either a traitor to your race or a traitor to your gender. You're voting for fascism, a traitor to the nation. You know, it's like I said in the video I recorded yesterday reacting to The View. Anytime anything goes wrong for the left, the response seems to be, well, you're the problem, not us. And you see this depicted very clearly in their response to this election. Not only have they refused to take any accountability or blame for their failures, but it seems like the party isn't course correcting at all. You know, there's a few few people on the left who are voicing their concerns, who are suggesting it's time for a moment of introspection, and of course retrospection is time to take a look, reform, and move forward a changed party. But just look at the polls heading into 2028. They're still propping up Kamala Harris as their...
You know, you can tell this right here is another fake poll. You telling me that for 2028, they're going to run Kamala Harris again? A woman that didn't make it an hour? Who's going to vote for Kamala Harris over all those people right there? It's like, there they go with more fake polls. Oh, my God. And you think if Kamala Harris run in 2028, you think she's going to beat J.D. Vance? I think not. She's not going to beat J.D. Vance. She's probably not even going to win out of the people that she's going to be going up against anyway. So, I mean, come on now with this fake poll.
Preferred candidate, the least popular vice president in modern American history. And now they're even running push polls claiming that she'll beat J.D. Vance. I've seen a couple of these headlines pop up recently. But let's be completely honest. This is a joke. This is not real. Kamala Harris would probably lose to Jeb frickin' Bush. She's a walking example of everything that people despise about modern Democrat Party politics. She's out of touch, inauthentic, completely unrelatable. She didn't earn the position that she's in. And it's obvious she couldn't connect with voters in 2020. There's no real reason to believe that she would fare any better in 2028, but instead of rethinking their strategy, the Democrats are just running this.
They better rethink their strategy. I mean, what's she going to do? She's not going to answer any questions. She's no different from Joe Biden. Whoever she interviews, she want to be able to control everything. You can only ask me about this. Don't ask me about that. You can only ask me about this. I mean, that's all it's going to be. She ain't going to answer any questions. So it's going to be the same thing over and over. If they run Kamala Harris again, I can guarantee you right now they're not going to win. They are not going to win. They ain't going to win regardless.
The same tired playbook and expecting different results. We're just gonna run it back. Kamala Harris lost because everyone's racist, and so we're gonna lecture them for 4 years and then they're gonna elect her. It's unbelievable. I mean, the left's inability to adapt is frankly stunning. They're so blinded by their own self-importance that they don't even seem to realize how much damage they've done to themselves. They've spent years alienating the working class, ignoring middle America, and pandering to coastal elites. And now they're shocked, I mean shocked, that their message doesn't resonate with voters outside of their bubble. Meanwhile, Trump and Republicans have been running circles around them because they actually show up. Trump doesn't dismiss his voter groups. He doesn't tell them, I'll win with or without you.
He don't say stuff like that.
He energizes them and he listens to their concerns and then crafts his policy stances and his message to address his voters' concerns, or more importantly, to address the majority concern in the nation. And that's why his base is so loyal. It's why the GOP is gaining grounds in areas that the Democrats used to dominate. And it's obvious the left doesn't have that energy, that enthusiasm, or that connection with voters anymore. And their response is, well, who cares? We don't even need to do the boots on the ground work because we got the billionaire donor bucks and the celebrity class pushing our propaganda. The level of arrogance, the level of entitlement.
That's why they lost.
So deep. They've convinced themselves that they don't need to change even as they continue to lose ground. I mean, the sky is falling at the Democrat headquarters, but they seem to be insulating themselves, living in an underground bunker, unable to see the tumbling sky. It's just such an incredible level of arrogance. And like I say in all these videos, I'm just hoping that the American people can see it and they're done with this arrogance, this elitism, and the endless excuses.
Agreed.
I just have this feeling that the Democrats have set their party back a generation. I think they're going to find themselves even further out of power moving forward. And honestly, in the end, I know they're blaming everybody else but themselves, but in the end, truthfully, they'll have no one to blame but themselves. Anyways,
so there we go right there. As y'all can see, like I said before, Donald Trump is never going to say, I'm going to win with or without you. He'll never say nothing like that. But this is something that happened behind the scenes that we didn't know anything about. But we did see that Teamsters poll when Donald Trump was up like 50. I'm trying to remember. I know it was like 58, 59% to her like 30-something. It was like literally lopsided. And now we find out the reason why, because she was threatening them, telling them that they better get on board, putting a finger in the woman's face, saying she's going to win with or without him. And the only thing I said was I just wish they would have came out. I wish he would have came out with this, you know, during that. Like when that happened, he should have released that video. He should have went on Tucker Carlson then and let everybody know so Kamala Harris can have the answer to that. That was my only gripe about it, but I am glad we dodged a bullet and stuff like that. We got President Trump, and that right there is what all matters. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think about it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.